go blackberrying, said Thomas to Wendy. There are heaps of berries on the hill above the village. All right, said Wendy. I will get the baskets. Bring me back enough to make Daddy a blackberry pie, said their mother. He loved that and will be so pleased to see it. So the children promised to bring back their baskets quite full so that Daddy could have a pie that evening. Off they went, carrying their baskets in which their mother had put sandwiches for them. It was a long climb up the hill, and when at last they reached the big stretch of blackberry bushes, they were both tired. Shall we eat our sandwiches now? Said Wendy. Then we can pick blackberries until it is time to go home. Yes, said Thomas. So they sat down and ate their sandwiches, that emptied their baskets. So they at once set to work to pick the blackberries. What a lot there were! Great big juicy ones, as black as could be. The children ate a lot and filled their baskets as well. When they had got a good load, and their baskets were almost running over with the berries, they sat down for a rest. The sun was very hot indeed, and they found a nice shady place under a tree. They put their baskets on the grass in the shade and lay down beside them. They were both tired, and in a few moments they were fast asleep. Wendy woke up first and dug Thomas in the ribs. Wake up, she said. We have both been asleep. Hadn't we better start for home? Yes, said Thomas, rubbing his eyes. He put out his hand for his basket and then stared in the utmost surprise, for it was quite empty. Wendy looked at hers too, and that was quite empty as well. The two children didn't know what to make of it. They were very upset. Someone has been along and stolen our blackberries, said Thomas, in a temper. Oh, what a mean thing to do. Now Daddy won't have any pie for supper. Who can it be? Asked Wendy. The two children stood up and looked all around them. There was no sign of anyone. Then suddenly Thomas sniffed the air. Smell, Wendy, he said. Sniff the air. Wendy sniffed. Then she turned to Thomas in excitement. That's the smell of blackberry pie, she said. Someone's making it quite near here, and I guess it is with our blackberries. The children went in the direction of the delicious smell. It got stronger and stronger, and suddenly they came to a little door set deep in the hillside. It was open, and from inside came the smell of blackberry pie. Someone was singing a little song, and when Wendy peeped in, she saw a pixie standing by a table, setting it with knife and forks. Thomas went boldly into the tiny room and started the pieces so much that he dropped a knife and fork with a great clatter. Where did you get those blackberries for your pie? Asked Thomas. Did you take them out of our baskets? Before the pixie could answer, a lovely fairy came in through the open door too. Is dinner ready? She began to ask, and then she saw Thomas and stared in surprise. What do you want here? She said. If you please, said Thomas, I came to find out if the blackberries cooking in the pie over there was stolen from our baskets whilst we are asleep. Oh, how dreadful, said the fairy. She turned to the pixie and spoke to him sternly. "Slyfoot," she said, "have you been up to your tricks again? Did you take those blackberries from these children, or did you pick them as I told you to?" "I took them from their baskets," stammered the pixie, going very red. "You see, I hadn't time to pick them, and—" "You very naughty little pixie," cried the fairy. "Go out of the room this minute and put yourself straight to bed." The pixie burst into tears and left the room howling. The fairy turned to Thomas and said how sorry she was. "He is a very naughty fellow," she said. "I am always having to punish him. May I pay you for the blackberries he stole?" "Oh no," said Thomas politely. "Please don't trouble any further. You see, they will for Daddy's blackberry pie tonight," explained Wendy, who had come into the little room to see what was happening. "He will be disappointed, but we can easily get some more tomorrow." "Oh dear," said the fairy in distress. "I do hate anyone to be disappointed. Wait a minute. I know what I can do. I have a magic blackberry somewhere which will just be the thing for you." She hunted in some drawers and at last brought out a small, hard blackberry which was not quite ripe. She gave it to Thomas and told him what to do with it. "You put it on a dish and said, 'Blackberry small, please will you try to make yourself into a blackberry pie? Then you will see something surprising,' she said." Thomas took the berry and thanked her very much. Then they said goodbye and ran off down the hillside, carrying their baskets with them. "What an adventure, Wendy," said Thomas. "I do wonder what will happen when we say the magic ring." Mother was very disappointed when she saw that their baskets were quite empty. But when she heard about the adventure, she could hardly believe her ears. "Here's Daddy," she said. "Now put the blackberry on a dish and see what happens." So, with everybody watching, Thomas put the little blackberry into a big pie dish and said, "Blackberry small, please will you try to mix yourself into a blackberry pie?" Nothing happened at first. Then the blackberry suddenly swelled and broke into 6 pieces, each of which became a berry, black and juicy. Then they all swelled and 6 more came from each. This went on till the pie dish was full. Then, suddenly, so quickly that no one saw how it happened, the dish was covered with a lovely crush. Then steam began to rise from the pie, and the crust turned a golden brown. It was ready to eat. "Good gracious!" cried Father. "That is quite the most wonderful thing I have ever seen. We must keep that magic blackberry and use it lots of times." But of course, nobody knew which of the blackberries was the right one. Mother cut the pie and peered inside to see the little hot berry, but they couldn't. It was cooked along with the rest. "Never mind," said Father. "Let's eat the lovely pie." So they did, and they all said it was the best they had ever tasted in their life. By the time they had finished, there wasn't even a crumb left. "Tomorrow I will go with you to see that little house in the hillside," said Father. But wasn't it disappointing? When they got there, the little doll had vanished, and though they hunted everywhere, up and down the hill, they couldn't find it again. "Never mind, we have had a pie," said Thomas. "Wasn't that blackberry surprising? I wonder which of us ate, but none of them ever knew."